Are the airline stocks coming back? Southwest has just reported that they have seen increased demand in going into the summer months, and so now it may raise a question as to whether or not this is the time to get in. Well, I'm going to give you some thoughts on that, plus 3 airline stocks that I think are worth investing in coming up. What's going on, guys? Yes, so some pretty positive news as far as the airline industry is concerned, which may raise some questions as to whether or not is now the time to get in. Well, I'm going to answer that question in just a second, along with 3 top stocks in the airline industry that I think are worth taking a look at. But first, I want to welcome you to my channel. Hi, my name is Brad, and this is Own the Chaos. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, right? Well, I've made it my mission to help you own it. So if you want to see more content like this, I certainly would appreciate a subscribe. And if you get value out of today's video, certainly would appreciate a thumbs up as well. And real quick, before I get to these 3 stocks, I just want to invite you over to the Kaos Crew. This is a channel membership. If you're looking to just get a snapshot of the stock market each and every morning, you can get one from me an hour before the bell rings. And what this is a list of 4 to 5 stocks that I'm watching. It just kind of gives you an idea of where things are moving and maybe some potential plays before the market opens. So if you're interested in that, I would love to have you over at the Kaos Crew. Just make sure you click in that join button and I'll see you there. Okay, so just yesterday, United Airlines came out and said that they have seen a moderate increase in demand in the first half of May. And Southwest reported positive net bookings for the same period as well. Press release that the company's month-to-date net positive bookings represent a reversal in the net negative booking trends experienced during the majority of March and April 2020, where trip cancellations outpaced new passenger bookings. They also went on to say the company has also recently experienced a modest improvement in passenger demand and bookings in June 2020. Also, Delta said that they would be adding more flights to meet demand as they are still maintaining that 60% in-cabin capacity for all flights. This has caused a lot of these airline stocks to rise in price over the last couple of days, along with the market moving overall on positive vaccine results as well as stimulus money. So this has all been a perfect storm for the airlines as of right now. So does this mean that the airlines are about to make their ascension into clearer and less turbulent skies? Well, not so fast. We still have a long way to go as far as the road to recovery is concerned. There's always potential for a second wave to impact the economy as well as air travel, as I'm sure you probably are aware of. Not to mention that some of these companies are still burning through an insane amount of cash. So it's not only can you survive, but can you thrive after people start going back to work and start traveling more? So how should you treat this sector? Well, I think that we do see a steady climb up in the short term, meaning that before second quarter earnings come out, I think that we see a relatively positive move, especially as people start coming out more and start traveling more and doing the things that they used to do before all of this craziness happened. But for me, I have 2 really concerning questions as it relates to the airliners and, how I should go about investing in these, especially when it comes to how much should you be looking to invest in? What amount of your portfolio should you be putting into the airline stocks, as they still are speculative? So the 2 questions are this. Number 1, what will second quarter earnings actually look like? Look, we already know they're going to be straight trash as far as revenue and actual earnings per share are concerned, right? We know that it's going to be operating at a pretty significant loss. All these airlines are. But what I really want to see is how much is each one of these companies really burning through as far as cash is concerned. Are they able to overcome this debt once revenue starts to come back in? And like I said, can they not only survive but thrive through this? It's not enough, in my opinion, to make sure that you're just staying afloat throughout this crisis. But what about when you're no longer getting government spending and the fall comes about? Are you going to be laying a lot of people off? I think that is just going to be a really crucial key question that needs to be answered if you're going to continue to invest in airline stocks. The other important question here that I don't think a lot of people have been asking is, have we underestimated the power of people working from home or working remotely? Meaning, is business travel actually going to be where it was before? Can we ever get back to where it was before? And I don't think it has anything to do really with the Rona and concerns of getting sick, but I think it has everything to do with a sound business decision. And Angel investor Jason Calacanis, who invested in Tesla before they even IPO'd and also owns the very first Model S that came off of the factory line, recently went on to CNBC in an interview stating that Silicon Valley companies might actually start moving out of Silicon Valley. From what he's seen over the last 8 weeks in Silicon Valley is companies being able to manage employees efficiently and successfully remotely, and it really has been a eye-opening experience, to say the least. They've essentially been forced into this situation and are actually making it work. So this may get companies in the valley, especially in that area where they have to deal with high leasing costs, high taxes, to be able to move elsewhere and not have to deal with all of that and still be able to manage people remotely, still be able to hire talent from all over the globe without having to really go anywhere, without having to travel. And so that's why I think that demand may not actually get to where we saw it once before back in January 2020, where it was as high as it has ever been. That being said, I do believe the airline industry has plenty of upside here still. And as I stated before, if you're looking to invest in any of these companies, you're going to have to look at the ones that can not only survive, but thrive moving forward out of this situation that we're in. So as promised, I have 3 airline stocks that I think are worth, taking a look at and possibly investing in the short term, at least until we get to the second quarter earnings. And then I might actually scale back on those, or I would scale back on those before earnings come out for the second quarter, which would be in a July area or July time. And so these are ones that I'm looking to make a move up to that point. So the first one's going to be Delta. And I think this is an easy choice, right? They're the largest company by revenue, asset value, and market cap. So everything that you're looking for in a company that has what they need to survive and thrive through a situation like this. CEO Ed Bastian said, today our load factor in Delta is somewhere about 35 to 40% full. He said in an interview, once we get close to 60% on an individual route, that'll be the trigger for us to add more planes into the system. Overall, U.S. travel continues to be slow, he said, adding that he expects it to recover in the next 12 to 18 months, although international travel may not start more fully until 2021. This kind of confidence from the CEO is quite different than what we saw just 4 weeks ago from the company. And so I think that this is a really good sign for them. And for me, if you're looking to invest in this, I think it's very much a value under $25 per share, barring that there aren't any other huge issues as far as, economic issues, or we see some sort of huge setback from the Rona. And that being said, it applies to all of these stocks, which I will get to the next one here, and that is Southwest. Southwest has one of the best balance sheets in the industry, and in their recent 8K this week, they said that they expect June cash burn to slow between $30 million and $35 million to the low $20 million range, which isn't great, but certainly better. Southwest also is expanding its flight schedule in June, and they've been holding very well up above $28 per share recently. I think that if it dips below that in the coming days, that it does scream a value there, and I do think that we see a move for Southwest up above $30 in the next coming days or weeks. Now, the third and final one here is probably going to throw you for a little bit of a loop here, but I like JetBlue. JetBlue has actually emerged as one of the leaders when it comes to safety in cabins as a result of the Rona, and I think that, the measures that they've been taking has instilled confidence in some of the travelers that are looking to, travel by air. And so they are seeing this, and so that confidence may actually increase demand for JetBlue. We've seen this make a fantastic move from $7.30 all the way up over $9.50 recently, and I think that this is still a value under $9. If this happens to dip back below that, I think that I would definitely be scooping up some shares for JetBlue. I think that out of all the other smaller airliners, this one has the best looking outcome and best looking balance sheet to survive and then thrive, as we have been, really focusing on in this video. Now, I would like to mention that previously I had talked about American Airlines being, a pretty decent one to look at, and this was probably about 6 weeks ago. I'm retracting that statement now because they are still burning through an obscene amount of cash. They have not slowed down at all, burning through $50 million a day. They are in a ridiculous amount of debt. And, going back to what I was saying about surviving and thriving, right? Well, I think that American Airlines could definitely survive, but when it comes to thriving, I don't know just yet. I do think it's a concern here for American Airlines that once they burn through all the cash that was given to them by the government, that they still won't be in a position to actually do well, because they are going to need a significant amount of revenue to cover the amount of debt that they have incurred and really continue to pay all of their employees as well. So I think that's going to be a really big concern. So unfortunately, I'm dropping American Airlines off of the watch list here, at least until we can start to see them slowing down all of the spending that they've been doing. I don't know how they are going to end up doing that. They do have the largest fleet of planes, and so I'm sure that's probably costs a lot to maintain all of that. But, you know, when you look at something like Delta, who is the largest company by market cap, you know, they don't have to worry about maintaining nearly as many planes. They're actually third on the list when it comes to the size of their fleet. So it doesn't always mean that the more planes you have, the better. But that's enough for me. I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about this? Did your favorite airline make the list here, or do you have something else that you want to bring to the table? What are your thoughts about the airline industry as a whole? Do you think my theory about people working from home and demand not going back to where it once was, it has some validity to it? What are your theories about the industry and where it is going from here? As always, I respond to every single one of the comments, so I definitely would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you got value out of today's video, I certainly would appreciate a thumbs up to show me some additional support. And if you want to see more videos like this, please be sure to subscribe as well. And as always, folks, I will see you all before the bell, and B. Smith is out. What's going on, guys? Yes, so definitely some exciting news coming from Moderna, ticker symbol mRNA, on its phase 1 trials as we continue to battle the Rona.